in 1979 to serve as a center where representatives from all walks of life come together to analyze and exchange views on long-term national goals. Describing the institute as the critical think tank of the nation, Professor Ayob Omotayo, Director General of the Institute, says the meeting with the Vice President is to further intimate him of the activities of NIPSS in the last 6 months and the way forward, especially on the need to review the act establishing the institution.
Because this is a different polity now. A few of the sections of the act are actually out of sync with the reality of today. So those are the things we have brought up. Is okay, let us change this from order to reposition NIPSS. Well, this is NIPSS in transformation. In another 5 years, we will be 50 years. And of course, we cannot continue to exist the way we existed in the past. Nigeria now has different problems. Other issues have come up. The polity has changed, and NIPSS must be positioned to be able to respond to those things.
The Vice President, he says, also emphasized the need to avoid over-reliance on the federal government.
We are talking to funding organizations, we are talking to other groups of people that have interest in the residency program, and I'm sure the residency program will take off very soon.
In the State House, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
And away from that, a bit on education. Transformation of education begins with teachers. This is the theme for this year's World Teachers' Day. The question is, how prepared are we as a society ready to transform the education, beginning with the teachers? Well, Abdullah Hisleja takes a look at this year's celebration and also starts to find out whether the transformation is in sight, as teachers say they are yet to enjoy the national policy on teachers approved by the government 2 years ago.
They are known as destiny molders, with a responsibility of inculcating moral values in the children. So, when the federal government announced the national policy on teachers, many Nigerians were optimistic that the intervention will replace the old saying that the teacher's reward awaits them in the heaven. The package includes, but not limited to, extending retirement age from 60 to 65 and 35 to 40 years, whichever comes first. Others are increased remuneration, free school fees for children of teachers where they teach, and allowances for students studying education in universities and colleges of education, as well as rural allowance for teachers sent to the hinterland. The teachers are here again at the Eagle Square to celebrate their day as a wake-up call for government at all levels to improve their welfare.
To return teaching and teaching to their rightful places. To this end, we are fully implementing the professional teachers and teacher qualification framework, the standards that have been set that will basically mark on educational outcomes and teacher performance.
National Salaries, Incomes and Wages Commission has completed work on the reviewed remuneration packages for teachers, including the provision for rural posting allowance, science teachers allowance. The implementation of this is awaiting the conclusion of consultations with state governments and the National Assembly.
I want to assure Nigerians that we have actually started implementation of some of these welfare packages.
If this incentive is not being implemented before this present government leaves, then there's going to be another struggle for teachers.
Awards were presented to outstanding teachers and schools, public and private, for making a difference in the teaching profession.
We got the award because of the hard work, dedication, and commitment to duty.
For now, many Nigerians are waiting patiently to see how once upon a time reputable profession can be rescued. Abdullahi Musa Suleja, NTA News.
Corruption is said to have eaten deep into every fabric of the Nigerian society, and the education sector is no different. This manifests in various ways, such as in the recruitment of unqualified or unfit persons to teach at primary, secondary or tertiary levels. Well, the government is thriving to put an end to the menace, and Olayinka Ojo will tell us about it.
Since the present administration came on board, the fight against corruption has been a cardinal pillar of its comprehensive commitments and agenda to reform the nation. The signing up to the Open Government Partnership and adoption of Open Government Declaration commitment to have a robust anti-corruption policies, mechanism and practices has ensured transparency in the management of public finances and procurement. This has, in the last 7 years, strengthened the rule of law. Even though education globally is the bedrock of development, corruption in the sector from basic to tertiary level has been undermining the nation's investment. And those who go on prolonged strikes on flimsy reasons are no less complicit.
Incessant strikes, especially by unions in the tertiary education, often imply that the government is grossly underfunding education.
As part of the national policy on education, the homegrown school feeding program, which provides a free balanced meal per day for each child to attend public primary school in order to encourage school enrollment and facilitate access to universal basic education, has been laudable. This is because it has assisted in reducing the number of out-of-school children.
We need more funding for education. We need more teachers to be employed.
We don't want our school to be used as military camps.
We want the government help to protect our education from attack.
To mitigate the impact of security challenges in schools, aside the signed Safe School Declaration ratification document in December 2019, governments also developed a minimum standard for safe school document in 2021.
And the capability to convey information to the security agencies, then that community would be the first line of defense for this
examination malpractice, as well as ghost workers, lecturers taking up full-time appointment in more than one academic institution, including private institutions, lecturers writing seminar papers and dissertations for students for a fee. The ICPC is investigating and prosecuting sexual harassment and abuse of power in Nigerian educational institutions.
I call on stakeholders to demand accountability in the administration of academic institutions. Let me also implore
And Culture Minister Lai Mohammed has restated the need for African countries to close ranks and put in place an aviation sector that will eliminate. This was at the ongoing 65th United Nations World Tourism Organization's Commission for Africa meeting in Arusha.
It's complicated, expensive, and challenging.
Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed sharing his experience with a holistic approach to the problem. He was categorical that urgent measures must be taken to save Africa's tourism sector and ensure that other continents don't take advantage of this drawback.
Your Excellencies, for Africa to take maximum advantage of tourism as the fastest growing market in the world, with all its attendant benefits like job creation, etc. African countries will need to collectively and individually address the challenges relating to poor connectivity, unfavorable visa regimes, insecurity, high cost of air transport, low quality of tourism support services, including hotels and other professional skills.
Tourism, which equals gold mine in Africa, he maintained, must be fully explored and keyed into Africa Union's Agenda 2063, especially on its flagships on single African air transport market to make air transport in Africa a reality.
With the liberalization, an additional 145 country peers will receive direct services, boosting tourism and also increase by 27% frequencies on existing routes, thereby providing greater convenience and choice for consumers.
On the forthcoming maiden UNWTO Global Conference on linking tourism, culture and the creative industry to be hosted by Nigeria, he assured other ministers and delegates at the meeting that the event, which will hold at the iconic National Theatre Igbomu, Lagos, will also celebrate the edifice which was built 46 years ago. Prime Minister of Tanzania, Kassim Majaliwa, applauded the United Nations World Tourism Organization and expressed gratitude over the hosting right given to Tanzania, saying it demonstrates the pride of place Tanzania occupies in the global body. For the UNWTO Secretary General, Zura Polo Likashvili, the organization is transforming to give every country and continent a sense of belonging. Even though the COVID-19 pandemic affected the sector in 2019, its reopening is astronomical.
The first 6 months, and international tourist arrivals almost tripled in January to July when compared with the same period of last year. It means that the results we had in 2021 from January to July, it's tripled. It's a very good sign, and it means that we are back to almost 60% of pre-pandemic levels.
This Commission's meeting will be followed by a forum on this year's theme, Rebuilding Africa's Tourism, Resilience for Inclusive Socio-Economic Development. In Arusha, Tanzania, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
And back home, the second Niger Bridge project of the federal government is gradually getting to completion. The most recent is the test running of the lighting by the construction company. Uchenna Mwekoyo reports.
With a little more finishing touches, the second Niger Bridge project will be ready for inauguration. It was a beautiful sight to behold as the construction company switched on the lights on the bridge to test run its efficacy. The bridge, the project supervisors say, has been substantially completed, while the access roads are at the final stages of completion.
For the entire project, the completion as at the end of September is 95%. Completed. Where we are now, we are fixing the expansion joints. There are 4 expansion joints on this bridge. So everything about the main bridge across River Niger, as you can see, is completed.
Residents are, however, grateful to the Buhari-led administration for the political will to make the project a reality after years of promises by past leaders.
It's a very strategic access road network. So the southeast as a zone, not just Anambra, and it's a very serious benefit to the Anambra.
I thank the federal government for the effort in completing the second Niger Bridge. That bridge, when completed, is going to help the Igbos in terms of their business.
We appreciate God for the fact that the second Niger Bridge will also be soon flagged off, commissioned, and the people of Southeast will have ease in their traffic.
There are many states in the east and the delta. Now they have started doing small-scale projects also. So main was the transport facilities coming from Asaba going to Onisha, which is the main business hub. This River Niger, the first bridge which is there, it always gets crowded, as everyone knows. And you have to spend more than 4 hours, 5 hours on the road.
It's something the Anambrarians or Nigerians have been wishing to see. The other time I was president of this country, Muhammad Buhari.
The project since its inception has provided over 2,000 direct and indirect jobs for the host communities and will no doubt open up more business opportunities within the southeast and the country at large. In Onitsha, Uchenna Mwekoyo, NTA News.
A State House correspondent Adam Sambo reports that the governor of Bayelsa State, Doye Diri, also came calling.
This is the second time the former Nigerian leader is visiting President Muhammadu Buhari in the last 1 month. Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan is currently the special envoy and mediator of the Economic Community of West African States ECOWAS to Mali. Buhari was equally not disclosed. The president, however, pledged to address 3 major requests tabled before him by the governor of Bayelsa State, Doye State, Senator Seriaki Dixon, the Amanianabo Twan Brass, King Alfred Diata Spieth, and the chairman of the State Council of Traditional Rulers, King Bubayere Dakolo, the Ibenananowe of Ekpetiama Kingdom. The governor, amongst others, wanted the federal government to take over the Bayelsa State Medical University now that government is setting up medical hospitals in the geopolitical zones, a speedy completion of 3 federal routes in each of the senatorial districts, and the restoration of the oil mining license OML 46 to Bayelsa State, which he said was unjustly revoked and awarded to a private the technical and financial capacity to manage the oil well. The governor congratulated President Buhari on the nation's attainment balanced approach to issues of national development. Responding, President Muhammadu Buhari promised immediate intervention on the governor's request before electioneering campaigns take center stage across Nigeria. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Oh, thank you, Adamu. Now, the standards and quality of education received in tertiary institutions is built on sufficient funding to aid research and provide adequate tertiary institutions receive such funding from the Tertiary Education Trust Fund. Abdul Malik Hassan tells us how this has impacted on Nigerian public institutions.
The quest for education has always been strong in many countries. Perhaps a solid foundation for development, many may agree. It is a pride for most parents to see their children complete school up to tertiary level. This has always been a competition, and within tertiary institutions, test of competence at its peak. But before the transformation of the Tertiary Education Trust Fund in 2001, government-owned tertiary institutions were believed to be poorly funded. Then, the scheme came in, designed to improve the management of funds disbursed to these institutions. The aim is to improve physical infrastructure and program upgrade, facilitate national research, library development, disaster recovery, conference attendance, and academic staff training and development. This has to some extent fared well.
Pressure has come increasingly on TETFUND to up its game to make meaningful impact in our tertiary institutions. And we have been doing that in the areas of physical infrastructure. We are improving the facilities for teaching and learning across our schools. We are sponsoring our scholars for academic staff training and development. At the last count, over 36,000 have been trained. As we speak, we have our scholars distributed in various countries across the globe, as many as 58 countries.
In 2021, a total of 292.66 billion naira was disbursed to some selected public universities, polytechnics, and colleges of education across the country. This comes with a disbursement plan of 906 million to each university in the 6 geopolitical zones, while 628 million naira to 1 polytechnic and 1 college of education from the 6 geopolitical zones. Within this period, completion of the National Library was bestowed on TETFUND. The fund also accounted for the setting up of the National Research Foundation to address emerging challenges bedeviling the country. It was on paper that 217 research grants was said to be approved by the Executive Secretary of the TETFUND, making it the highest research grant ever.
We are now promoting research and building linkages between industry and our institutions so that the problems of industry, the aspirations, the goods and services and improvements they want to be seen can be incubated and thought out within our universities and other tertiary institutions. And this they can translate into goods and services profitably. And in the process, they will also sponsor this research effort in our schools.
Another was intervention in the health sector, which the fund said it provided 1 billion naira to 1 university in each of the 6 geopolitical zones for medical research, as well as provided facilities for treatment of major ailments such as prostate cancer, kidney ailment, among others, while it sponsored some overseas master's degree and PhD courses, specializations to include aeronautical and astronautical engineering, bioscience, biomedical engineering, material science and engineering, among others.
TETFUND alone, in the last 5 years, when you include all the various components of our intervention has spent more than 1.7 billion. Under President Buhari in his 7 years, we spent more than 2.5 trillion, on education.
In 2022, TETFUND kicked off the year's intervention program with the distribution of allocation letters to the 244 beneficiary institutions across the country following the approval of President Muhammadu Buhari. Each university was believed to have received a total of 642,848,138. The sum of 396,780,086 naira is allocated to each polytechnic, while every college of education got 447,758,804 naira, according to the ratio of 2:1:1 stipulated by the TETFUND's operational mandate. Abdulmalik Hassan, NTA News.
Let's take a break for now, and when we come back, we'll talk politics and more.
Fighting here and there, we don't want it at all. Killing people today, tomorrow, we don't want it at all. And we don't want separation. You do your own, I do my own. Make it go. No. We don't want that one. We may quarrel and disagree, but let it be on the table of dialogue. No blood, chaos, war, violence. Let us stand with our nation as one people. And we must also stand for the armed forces. They are our husbands and wives. They are our brothers and sisters. Please support the armed forces, whose lives are always on the front line to protect our nation. Nigeria is your own. Nigeria is mine. Nigeria is our own. And uniqueness is in our oneness. Our oneness is our strength.
They say nothing good comes easy, but with determination and sheer focus, Boa Foods finds new ways to put food on many plates. We produce competitively priced sugar, flour, and pasta that are highly sought after by our corporate and trade partners. At Boa Foods, we remain committed to lead with purpose and make a difference by embracing the responsibility to meet Africa's growing food demand. We dare to lead, so can you. Boa Foods, nourishing lives.
The Zenith Better Life promo is back, and it's bigger and better. You could be one of 20 lucky customers to win 150,000 naira every 2 weeks from now till January 31st, 2023. To qualify, simply open a Zenith Bank account and maintain a minimum balance of 5,000 naira. For more information, visit www.zenithbank.com/betterlife. Zenith Bank, in your best interest.
Are you an established brand in Africa? Are you into non-oil export trade? OYITC, in partnership with NTA TVE, Afro Agric LLC, CYMS, FACAN, and MFM-ITI presents OYITC October 2022 International Trade Show. Theme: Crossing International Frontier Through Non-Oil Export Trade. Venue: Marriott Hotel Westgate, 2900 Briar Park, Houston, Texas. Date: 11th to 16th October 2022. Time: 10 a.m. daily. There will be technical presentations and SME workshops. Guest speakers: Mr. Chinedu Amadi, Dr. Nafisat El Lade, Mr. Patrick Iro, Omar Goni Ahmed, Dr. Njideka Kelly, Chief Mrs. Miriam Onishele, Mr. Isaac Sunday Odonuba, MC Mr. Sonny Okuta. Registration is ongoing. See table for details. For sponsorship, please call Nafisat on 08033310992. Ifeanyi on 0906-454-5266. Anwuleka on 08053520874. Visit oyitc.com or ntatve.com.ng for details.
Looking fresh for your date? Get even fresher with Close Up. New Close Up Triple Fresh formula. It cleans deeply, fights 99% of bacteria, and cools intensely, keeping you protected and fresh. Still fresh, still protected. Feeling cool and protected. All day confidence to get close. New Close Up Triple Fresh formula.
Welcome back. Are you a member or supporter of the governing All Progressives Congress, APC, expressing worry why the party's presidential campaigns have not commenced? Well, the party's governance forum has assured supporters that there is nothing to worry about as plans have been further strengthened for the task ahead. Sally Ugona reports that the meeting between the Progressive Governors Forum, members of the Presidential Campaign Council and the party's National Working Committee was on the last-minute preparation for the task ahead.
It is a moment of strategic engagement by stakeholders of the APC ahead of the task before them. This tripartite meeting is coming less than 24 hours after a similar one between the Presidential Campaign Council and the APC governors.
This meeting that we've had is more than useful for all of us. For us, nothing short of victory is good enough for us. And the spirit of today's meeting underlines that fact.
We are very proud of the actions of the National Chairman and the NWC. We are very proud of the actions of the Presidential Campaign Council. We are happy that we are discussing.
After 5 hours of deliberation behind closed doors, no date is fixed yet for the commencement of the party's presidential campaign.
The fact of the matter is, we are the party, as APC, we will determine when we do what, as long as it's within the framework of INEC's guideline.
They agreed that the pre-campaign activities so far are in compliance with the desire for success. In Abuja, Saliu Gonara, NTA News.
Though the internal wrangling within the PDP is yet to be properly settled, the Presidential Campaign Council is going ahead with its plans to officially flag off the process in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State next week. Director General of the Campaign Council and Governor of Sokoto State, Aminu Waziri Tambol, stated this in Abuja while inspecting facilities at the National Campaign headquarters of the party. Timothy Yusuf reports.
The Wuse to Abuja headquarters of the Atiku Okowa 2023 campaign organization is already a beehive of activities with various support groups visiting to identify with the PDP presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar. This inspection of facilities at the National Campaign Office is preparatory to the October 10 presidential campaign flag-off in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State. Director General of the PDP Presidential Campaign Council and Governor of Sokoto State, Aminu Waziri Tambol, led other members of the council on a visit. The council promised an issue-based campaign.
And we are going to be marketing our candidates based on the program that we have rolled out, which is generally solution-based. We are not going to go about fishing. Atiku Abubakar is very well prepared to provide the required leadership that this country needs at this time.
On differences among some of the PDP governors buying into the Presidential Campaign Council, Tambua says in his capacity as chairman of the PDP Governors Forum, efforts are ongoing to resolve their differences amicably and bring everyone on board. The PDP Presidential Campaign Council sought the collaboration and understanding of Nigerians in the party's efforts towards returning to government at the center. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
In the meantime, INEC has published the final list of governorship and state assembly candidates for the 2023 general elections. A check on the list from the INEC website by our INEC correspondent Mio Gidi shows that all the 18 political parties fielded 1,837 candidates and their running mates for the 28 governorship elections in 2023. For state assembly elections, 10,231 candidates are vying for 993 state assembly seats. For the governorship election, Alia Yasint is the candidate for the APC in Benue State. Bala Mohammed for the PDP in Bauchi State, Sheriff Francis PDP Delta State, while APC has no governorship candidate for Akwa Ibom State for now. Let's head to Lagos now. As part of the presidential initiative to promote nationwide establishment of small claims courts, specifically, set up to resolve financial disputes, promote business environment, and state judiciaries across the federation are in Lagos for peer review of the framework. Ruth Samuel reports that the engagement was put together by the Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council.
Because the first thing we consider.
From an environment where magistrates and high courts are burdened with resolving financial disputes at a rather slow pace, the desire is to have a new paradigm where the wheel of justice turns faster for businesses to thrive more. Thus, the need to establish a framework for quick justice dispensation, especially in resolving small claims disputes among MSMEs, is why judges, magistrates, and other ministries in the Temple of Justice are here gathered.
It has brought justice nearer. People who cannot probably afford counsel, people whose cases are not that technical, things like tenancy, like simple debts, which can be easily settled without going through the formality of legal procedure.
You can represent yourself. You don't need a lawyer to represent you at the small claims court. The fact that it's very fast, that from the time you file till judgment, you have 30 days. So within 30 days, the case will be disposed of.
Special Advisor to the President on Ease of Doing Business reiterated government's commitment to the initiative by instituting small claims courts.
We're very proud that Nigerians have taken this up. The judiciary has really taken this up. You can see the amount of representation in today's peer-to-peer event. It shows the seriousness with which the judiciary in Nigeria across the states has taken this intervention to deliver this for the Nigerian business environment.
If little commercial cases for small claims can be in court for donkey years, it's not going to work. Nobody will like to invest in Anambra State. That's why we want to set up a small claims court.
More people who hitherto will not be able to access justice because of either the expense or because of the time or because of the formality or stringency of the process can access justice.
The Small Claims Court initiative is an intervention by the Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council. In Lagos, Ruth Ario Samuel, NTA News.
Our political campaigns may have kicked off ahead of the 2023 elections, but the question as to how equipped or informed political actors are on the do's and don'ts remains. The Advertising Regulatory Council of Nigeria, in an effort to ensure all parties play by the rules, is engaging political parties and the media on regulations, compliance and enforcement on political advertising in Nigeria. Charles Alpha reports.
Part of the political broadcast guidelines says political broadcasts shall be in decent language, devoid of hate speech, fake news, inciting comments, derogatory and divisive remarks. But whether political parties and their candidates understand what it takes to put up political adverts, abide and play by the rule are some of the reasons for this roundtable.
All political parties that prepare materials for campaign materials must first of all submit them to the Advertising Standard Panel of the Advertising Regulatory Council of Nigeria to vet every advert.
We always advise broadcasters, don't be the one producing it. Don't be the one, so that you can maintain your neutrality. That's why we also say the voice of an on-air personality recognized in a broadcast station should not be the one voicing those political jingles.
The Advertising Regulatory Council of Nigeria do not want the broadcast industry to be caught unawares, but arm themselves with the code of conduct guiding political advertisements.
If you are sending us a campaign material, we should not be talking down on your opponents. Should not be disparaging. Let it be issue-oriented. Let it be issue-based.
I'm not in any way underrating or denigrating or criticizing any political parties. It's not my place. But my place is for us to have a balanced, reporting.
Stakeholders want all parties involved to acquaint themselves with the guidelines and be ready to comply by the laid down regulations as relevant authorities are in place to monitor and enforce the laws. Charles Alpha, NTA News.
Care, financial support and political inclusion are the demands of older persons in Nigeria as they observe the 2022 National Day of Older Persons. Elizabeth Amori reports that the National Day is tagged celebrating the resilience of older women and men in a changing world, from resilience to empowerment.
Aside their frailty and grey, they are determined to contribute positively to national development. The agility of Pa Bakari, 73, caught our attention.
Lack of, resources to take care of themselves. When they have health challenges, they always die before their time.
The maiden edition of the National Day of Older Persons seeks to draw the attention of the government and society to the importance of engaging the aging population in national issues.
This present administration has instituted frameworks, strategies, programs, activities, and budget lines to begin to roll back the many years of neglect, many years of discrimination, whether it be systemic or institutional discrimination, and roll back the many years of abuse, and now systematically begin to include older people in development.
The walk, which began from the old parade ground, terminated at the headquarters of the NTA, where the Executive Director, Administration and Training received the senior citizens on behalf of the Director General.
NTA is here to project your objectives. I welcome you, and I encourage you individually and as a group to keep the light burning.
Financial instability and victimization are issues they highlighted hampering their social inclusion. They advocate people-centered integrated care through effective support systems. Elizabeth Omori, NTA News.
Well, all older persons out there watching, we celebrate you now, we'll celebrate you always. In the next segment of News Extract, correspondent takes us through the ICT sector and Nigeria story. Join us again for this and some developmental stories after this next break that beckons.
Wake up the champion in your child. Give them energy to go further. Milo Active Go and the natural goodness of malt, milk, and cocoa helps wake up the champion in your child.
You're always running around. Keeping up with you needs a comforting touch from Huggies with the right stretch for how much you move. Huggies pants comfortably fit baby's tummy. Their 360-degree comfort fit waistband makes them easy to open and pull off and on, so baby can keep on exploring and you keep doing great, Mom.
Now in a new look pack.
This blessing be yours, forever to keep a calm and peaceful sleep.
Removes mosquitoes so you can sleep a calm and peaceful sleep. Good night, Electric.
You almost don't lie. You almost don't lie.
Sunlight makes things easier, so you can do more.
You almost don't lie.
When you become more, you inspire others to be more too. Sunlight is here to support you as you reach for more success. Sunlight, more than you expect.
Introducing the Nigerian Marketing Awards. Celebrating marketing excellence in Nigeria on Friday, 11 November 2022 at the Eko Convention Center. Visit our website at www.mma-ng.com for more information. Entry closes September 30, 2022.
You're welcome back to News Extra. Next is business news.
Thank you, Fatima. The more robust economy can be achieved with accurate data, but challenges hamper how data is presented to the public. In a bid to address the shortcomings in presenting data to the public, the National Bureau of Statistics is increasing capacity for statistical reporting among members of the media and civil society groups with the aim of avoiding mistakes in statistical reporting. The NBS is also looking at digitization in statistical system reporting and compilation of trade statistics.
We did provision the program that is those aged between 18 to 15 years. Being the most politically and economically active, numerically significant, it becomes very more important that veracity and authenticity of the reporting is not in doubt at all.
Statistics is used by both private and public sectors and individuals in decision making. For a credible decision, the information disseminated to the members of the public in form of data should be accurate.
Now, the World Bank says the world is unlikely to meet the goal of ending extreme poverty by 2030. This is contained in the bank's latest report on poverty and shared prosperity. The study finds that COVID-19 dealt the biggest setback to global poverty reduction efforts since 1990, and the war in Ukraine threatens to make matters worse. It estimates that the pandemic pushed about 70 million people into extreme poverty in 2020, the largest one-year increase since global poverty monitoring began in 1990. As a result, an estimated 719 million people subsisted on less than $2.15 a day by the end of 2020. World Bank Group President David Malpass said adjustments of macroeconomic policies are needed to improve the allocation of global capital, foster currency stability, reduce inflation, and restart growth in median income. The Niger Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative (NIT) considers mismanagement of oil, gas, and mineral resources as violation of human rights. Executive Secretary of NIT, while sealing a memorandum of understanding with the National Human Rights Commission, said environmental pollution, climate injustice, violation of host communities' rights, inequity in benefit sharing, in addition to revenue and social infrastructure, are manifestations of violation.
As the implementation of the PIA moves into the advanced stage, the exposure of the civil society to these issues will become much more rare. I have enormous information on why the civil society needs this support from you as we unfold the implementation of the PIA in the coming days.
And with the kind of resources we have, if you don't collaborate, if you don't have partnerships, there's no way you can make any appreciable impact. So we're happy to do this.
It's a quick look at business news. Fatima is back to you.
Well, thank you so much, Musa Walker, for the business package. Now, a House of Representatives ad hoc committee wants Chevron to answer some fundamental questions on the gas to liquid project it executed in Nigeria. The committee is asking Chevron to justify why the cost of execution of similar project in Qatar was $2 billion, but for Nigeria, the project gulped $10 billion. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali has that.
The House Ad Hoc Committee is investigating joint venture operations and production sharing contracts of the Nigeria National Petroleum Company Limited. The gas to liquid project was signed in 2005 between Nigeria and Chevron at the cost of $2.9 billion to stop gas flaring and protect the oil produced upstream. The team from Chevron told the committee that the escalation in cost was as a result of commodity crisis experienced in the course of executing the contract.
Some contractors did the same thing in Qatar for just about 2 billion. The same capacity, same everything. We all knew with NNPC this was very complex technology to be executed in this part of the world. And so, when project construction started in 2005, coincidentally, if you check the records, at that same time, commodity prices, including that of oil, steel, and what have you, started rising in the international market.
The committee, while cross-examining officials of the company, discovered that Chevron has not obtained some statutory certification from the Ministry of Trade and Investment. The chief executive of NNPC Limited, Mele Kyari, also made submissions before the committee as he cleared the air in relation to financial accounts of the NNPC.
There's no account that the NNPC operates that is not known to government and that is not known to the Accountant General of the Federation. We do operate our accounts. We always submit list of all accounts we operate. We make sure that we have appropriate approvals at all times to establish any account for this company.
As the committee continues the investigative hearing, it stresses that it will only entertain heads of agencies and organizations. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
The story of Nigeria's digital journey can be likened to the growth of a beautiful butterfly soaring on the wings of the desire to make her the leading digital hub in Africa and in alignment with the digital universe worth $11.5 trillion. ICT correspondent Chimduma Ndibisi in this report looks at the prospects in this sector in Nigeria's 62 years of nationhood.
Nigeria's digital landscape making a steady progress since the 1960s when computers came into the libraries. Introduction of Global System for Mobile Communications (GSM) in 2001 was the game changer. Telephone conversation was not strictly a home affair anymore. Calls were taken to the roads. The once prized gadgets available to only a few now made affordable to all. Like a journey to the hilltop, the second, third, and fourth generation networks added these new experiences: SMS, internet connection, and video accessibility to mobile phone, now considered our mini computer, reaching the crescendo 5G network, which is no longer our telltale, but reality in Nigeria. Major cities are being linked to this spectrum that offers faster speed and greater bandwidth for more smart device connections. 44-year-old Eric has witnessed it all.
We had to go and queue to use the landline and communicate with my dad then in Jos. So it was so difficult then. But from that 2001, everything was very easy. Then it was draft. But now, easily you transfer your money.
I built my client that I can advertise some of my phones to put it in my status. So customer will just see my number online and call.
Nigeria's ICT space has become one of the largest employers of labor in recent times. Idris and Adamo let us in on aspects of the business.
We that fix will make at least minimum of 5, 6, 7,000 in a day.
I make like 20 a day.
20-year-old Mohammed, though born a year after GSM came to be, is part of the young tech-savvy generation heralding a new digital age full of opportunities.
Anytime I wake up in the morning, the first thing I look into is my mobile phone. So I can't imagine life without mobile phone. I fix it and I sell it, which I use to sponsor myself myself up to secondary school level.
At the moment, there are about 210 million active mobile phone subscribers. Broadband penetration is at 44.65%, and internet subscribers above 152 million, all enjoying cheaper rates compared to other countries. In the years ahead, the federal government plans to achieve 98% broadband penetration across the country and have 95% of the population digitally literate. In Abuja, Chimdema DBC, NTA News.
Interesting one there. Deep seabed exploration is expanding in frontiers, and Africa must jump on the train to enhance its blue economy. But lack of capacity will be a challenge. Raising the fourth Africa Seabed Resources Project is holding in Abuja to identify specific needs of African countries. Kelvin Uwumahe reports.
The International Seabed Authority is an autonomous international organization established under the 1982 United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea. It is the organization through which parties to the convention organize and control all mineral resources-related activities in the area for the benefit of mankind. The organization has the mandate to ensure the effective protection of the marine environment from harmful effects that may arise from deep seabed-related activities. Nigeria signed and ratified the treaty on 14 August 1986, with 53 other African countries following suit. But none of them since then has effectively developed interest in the activities of the deep seabed, a situation the Nigerian government says has to change.
There's a need for Nigeria and in deep Africa's industrial stakeholders, relevant organizations and private entities and NGOs to synergize efforts towards strengthening the engagement of African states in the activities undertaken in the international seabed area.
The potential significance of these resources to the development of Africa's blue economy is recognized in many key policy frameworks, including the 2050 Africa's Integrated Maritime Strategy and Agenda 2063, and the Africa Blue Economy Strategy of the African Union.
Through focal agencies like the National Boundary Commission and the MASA, Nigeria is about to lead the African perspective, and the framework for achieving that is what this workshop will develop.
Nigeria, as usual, will continue to be at the forefront. NIMASA will continue to lead in terms of exploitation and exploration of the international seabed resources.
And as it is now, no African nation is benefiting or participating effectively in the exploitation of the resources in the area. So I think this sensitization, which is the fourth in the series, is reawakening Africans to sit up and see how they can at least tap from these resources.
The technical session is focusing on key areas like the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, data collection and analysis, marine science and geology, with experts in 8 African countries participating. In Abuja, Kelvin Ewonwaye, NTA News.
So far, so good for the Federal Road Safety Corps, but not so good for communities hit by flood and its devastation. Let's take another breather and then bring you details of these and other stories ahead. Don't go away.
It's been a long day, and nothing could feel better than sleeping comfortably. So relax. You won't be bothered by leakage or irritation tonight. Huggies Dry Comfort has a super fast dry layer that quickly absorbs wetness for all night dryness and comfort. So baby can wake up comfy and dry as the night before. And you keep doing great, Mom.
Now in a new look pack.
NIPSS 2022, Nigeria's biggest cultural festival, the festival that unites the nation. Date, 7th to 13th November 2022 at the National Stadium and the Teslim Balogun Stadium, Lagos. For sponsorship and support, please call Ade 0813 415 4562, Akin 0803 067 5818, Carlo 0803 544 7776. NIPSS, using culture to unite the nation. Chairman, National Festival Planning Committee, announcer.
Since 1971, Nigeria's foremost human capital development institution, the Industrial Training Fund, ITF, has been at the forefront of equipping Nigerians with skills for national growth. Today's ITF has repositioned and refocused its programs, forging new partnerships locally and internationally to effectively deliver on its mandate. With 37 area offices and 5 industrial skills training centers across the country, ITF is pushing to reduce unemployment by providing relevant technical and vocational skills for employability and entrepreneurship in diverse trades and crafts. Whether you're a public or private organization seeking to improve the skills of your personnel or an individual looking to acquire skills that will increase your chances of employment or even to help start your own business, today's ITF has a program for you. Speak to us today. Contact our area offices nationwide or visit our website www.itf.gov.ng. ITF, developing the nation's human resource.
Good morning, Nigeria. Year after year, they have been formed, educated, and entertained on when you needed information, knowledge, or an escape.
From generation to generation, the Nigerian broadcasting industry has worked tirelessly to serve you.
And now, this service will finally be recognized. Right? This November, broadcasters all over Nigeria will gather for the maiden edition of the Nigerian Broadcasting Awards, an award ceremony set to reward hard work and unflinching excellence in the broadcast media. They have served and are still serving. It's time to say thank you. This award is organized by the Broadcasting Organizations of Nigeria, BON. For more details, log on to www.tnbawards.ng and follow social media handles at TNB Awards.
Thanks for staying. Federal Road Safety Corps is walking the talk in ensuring Nigerian motoring population ply on a safer road networks across the country. This came to the fore during the annual Customer Service Week carried out by Servica. Abakar Akwanga reports.
Achieving zero fatality on Nigerian roads is a target the Federal Road Safety Corps is struggling to meet, and as an agency saddled with the mandate of evaluating such performance, it has performed significantly well in that direction. Servicon is concerned about services rendered by agencies and consumers' feedback. For the FRSC, it is a case of mandate well delivered, as its effort in ensuring safety on the road resonated in a grand style.
We're celebrating you for serving us right. It's also a celebration to support and advocate sustained improvement. And it's also a process of ensuring that we recognize the teams that are doing great.
We are here, in fact, as a government agency, our duty is to render service to the public. Yes, and that service, we must render it timely, efficiently, and effectively. That is our task. And we want to assure you that we'll continue to do that.
The agency urged other MDAs to emulate the FRSC and assured Nigerians of its continued service to the nation in improving services rendered by providers across the country. In Abuja, Abubakar Akwanga, NTA News.
As the River Niger overflows its bank, about 10 riverine communities in Esako, Central and East local government areas in Edo State have been submerged by flood, even as residents have fled from their communities. Victor Odianacha takes it up from here.
Buildings, farmlands, livestock, school, places of worship, markets and other properties in these communities have been destroyed as the flood continues daily. The only means of transportation in these communities at the moment is by canoe, which now transports people to and fro as the residents have deserted their homes.
And we also use this medium to call on the state, local government and the federal to come to our aid, because every crops in this community has been carried away by flood.
The whole community need the federal government to assist both state and federal, because the way it is now, you see, many people have been displaced. You can see for yourself.
The government and state government
to come and help us to see that this water that are coming us every year will not be happen again.
Out of my parlor, 2012, the water never enter inside. But you go there now, it don't begin to reach here. All my rooms here, I heard you do.
No single land, if not this place now, as you can see, crop destroyed 1 million of naira. One cannot actually quantify how much.
The former Edo State Commissioner for Youth and Sports, Mr. Damian Lawani, who is from the area, and some other government officials were on ground on an assessment visit to the area.
Trying to console them over the loss of crops, farmlands, properties, household. It's a very pathetic situation. To a larger extent, the people are really in need of help.
Meanwhile, some of the victims have relocated to the internally displaced persons camp in the area, while others still insist of remaining in their communities. In Esako Central Local Government Area, Victor Odion Archer, NTA News.
Operators engaged in the cleanup of polluted sites in Ogoniland are in the United Kingdom for capacity development on hydrocarbon pollution remediation. On NGF's reports.
Minister of Environment Mohammed Abdullahi is leading the delegation of Nigerian stakeholders in the United Kingdom to observe models of successful remediation projects. Supported by the United Nations Environment Programme, UNEP, the visit is to expose the hydrocarbon pollution remediation project HYPREP team to the intricate processes of remediation exercise and establish linkages with advanced laboratories engaged in the analysis of groundwater and polluted land. So far, the team has understudied the Australian laboratory services in Wales and the Anson's Ment Paddeswood Works to evaluate air pollution management in relation to exposed communities. The Nigerian delegation in the United Kingdom include members of HYPREP Board of Trustees, Governing Council and Project Management Office. On NTA Fineface, NTA News.
And we take our last time out to bring you sports. I urge you to stay right there so we wind up together.
Forget last season. Forget the winners and the losers. Forget every moment that stole the show. Because this is a brand new season on Go TV. And it's going to be bigger and better than any season before it. With over 7 leagues and cup competitions, plus a World Cup. Make sure you get the best seats in the house this new football season. Get a decoder, Go Tenor, plus 1 month Go TV Max for 6,900 Naira only. Bigger season, greater football. Go TV. Love it.
To every politician, as the campaigns gain momentum and passions begin to rise, remember, the errors of your opponents do not make you a success. Do not run down your opponent and inflame passions to violence between and among your supporters. What counts is what you plan to do for the electorate and how you intend to relieve the sufferings and bring succor. Nigeria is in dire need of patriotic leaders at all levels, leaders who will make national development their priority. Concentrate on telling the electorate what you intend to do when you get into office. Focus on making your vision clear to the electorate. Don't engage in verbal abuses, fake news or speeches. Keep dealing with issues that will bring progress. You win the hearts and minds of the people by being above board, by being civil, patriotic and showing empathy. Let's join hands to make the 2023 elections peaceful. A message from the National Orientation Agency.
Let's talk sports now. Despite some level of successes in the Nigeria sporting activities, there are general concerns on growing factionalization in sports federation and other sporting activities in Nigeria. Austin Edomodu in this report highlights challenges in this regard and the way forward.
Moffey to make it 3. Exports have over time
become a source of pride and unity amongst Nigerians, especially when Nigerian contingents excel in competitions. However, there is a cankerworm that is eating deep into the foundation of Nigerian sports. You may call it a clique or a faction within the sports federations and other levels endlessly engaged in power tussle.
And see some people who just hold on to power. So it breed this bad blood and people wanting to fight and okay, let's share this sport.
Ego is also part of it. Greed and winning at all syndrome.
The unfortunate phenomenon of factionalization has in many ways undermined the growth of sports, either through lack of planning, local or international bans from the government or affiliate bodies. Again, man-hours and financial resources are wasted on needless litigations at the expense of sports development.
There is no gainsaying that behind ICT, sport is the next highest employer of labor. It goes to tell you the economic value sport adds to any nation that takes advantage of it. Now, a house divided itself, like they say, cannot stand. When you now have a very valid tool that can help the economy shattered, all because of selfish interest, and there is no way that kind of sector that contributes heavily to any economy that takes advantage will contribute what it's supposed to contribute.
Interestingly, there are laid down rules and regulations guiding the activities of these sports federations in line with the requirements of affiliate bodies.
Then people also need to follow the rules. If you are aggrieved, people will say, oh, there is no system. No, there is a system. Like, for example, the sport that I know, starting the NFA is very clear. You don't go to court. If you agree, you can ask the NFA to set up arbitration for you. Bring your arbitrator, NFA bring their own, resolve it. If you are not satisfied, you apply to FIFA. If you are not satisfied, you go to court of arbitration for sports.
A house divided against itself is bound to fall. Therefore, it requires patriotism and proper conflict resolution mechanism to overcome these challenges and make the sporting sector more vibrant and rewarding.
Moffy to make it 3.
I'm Austin Edemodu, NTA News.
Thank you, Austin. Now, President Muhammadu Buhari condoles with his personal assistant, broadcast media, Buhari Salou Ismail, on the passage of his mother, Hajia Maria Mohammed, aged 65. In a personal letter to the bereaved aide, President Buhari expressed sadness over the news and how painful the death of a mother could be. He encouraged him to take solace in her richly fulfilled life, which reflects in his way of life that earned him his current position. The president prays Almighty Allah to forgive the departed and grant her Al-Jannatul Firdaus. Time to check on the weather update for tomorrow, Thursday.
You're welcome. We expect to see more rains by Thursday morning with good prospect of heavy rainfall, particularly across the north-central region, where we expect thunderstorms to a larger extent on these areas, particularly places like Nasarawa, Benue, parts of Niger, the Federal Capital Territory, extending to parts of Gombe, Bauchi, Adamawa, Taraba, Kaduna, and Kebbi. These thunderstorms are expected to shift to the western half of the country and also affect parts of Niger, the Federal Capital Territory, Kwara, Kogi, and Kebbi by late morning into afternoon hours. To the southern region, more thunderstorms are expected to the inland cities of the south and its coastal belt, while in the late morning into the afternoon hours, we expect to see more thunderstorms activities across most places in the south, with higher intensity of rainfall over the southeastern region, areas like Cross River, Delta, and Imo State. The core of our weather tomorrow should be over the central parts of Benue, Nasarawa, Niger, parts of Taraba, including the southeastern region and the southwestern region. We have parts of Oyo, Osun, parts of Kwara and Niger to expect the highest rainfall amount. And this is where we conclude the forecast. Thank you for watching.
Well, the weather update concludes News Extra for tonight. Thank you so much for being a part of it. Well, before we go, remember the fight against rape is still on, so stay away from it. Well, I am Fatima Umaruba. Enjoy the rest of your night.